In today's video, we are going to be breaking down Cam Reddish and how he shoots the basketball. He was one of the top shooters in the NCAA coming into the NBA, and let's break down his shot so we can all become better shooters ourselves. Okay, so in this first clip, he has a nice corner shot. Let's analyze this shot and break it down. Okay, so when he receives that pass, what we do see is that first off, his shoulders are tilted away from the rim. Why is this important and why is he tilted so far? Well, he actually has a pretty good shooting form and a quite interesting shooting form from there. The reason why players will tilt their body away from the net is to get their shoulder in line with their elbow. That is the main source of your aim, and I've said this in so many videos before. But let's break down his base really quickly, and then we'll move on to his release. His base is obviously tilted away from the rim. His knees are also, they do come together on his shot. Do we see his shoulders over his knees over his toes? We do not. We actually see his knees and shoulders over his knees, but they're not over his toes. So what this means is that his shooting form is not necessarily balanced. He is sort of leaning forward into his shot, which could lead to the fact that he hasn't actually been shooting all that great this year. Last year was pretty good, especially for a rookie season, but this year he's been a bit off. It could be from the tilt in his shot, potentially. When he goes up for his shot, he does jump slightly forward, but not by all that much. We also see that when he straightens his body out, he is slightly off the floor, which is what we want to see. That's going to transfer energy up into his shot, which is exactly what we want to see. We want to see that when you straighten your body, that you are off the floor. We want to see that straightness as soon as you leave that floor. We don't want to see your body straight when you're still on the floor. We want to see you still bent. That is giving you energy transfer from your calves up into your thighs, which then goes up into your shoulders and elbow. It's all about energy transfer if you want to be able to shoot NBA range 3-point shots, or if you're younger and just want to shoot threes in general. Now, when he brings that ball up, it does start in the middle of his body and it goes up the middle of his body. Now, this is what I mean by having that tilt to his body. By having that tilt, he is getting that shoulder in line with his elbow towards the rim. His set point does seem to be in front, if not just over his right eye. Almost like if the young players, when we were all younger, we try to shoot from our chest, he's instead shooting from his face. Now, this could lead to a couple of more players blocking his shot, but also lead to less arc on the ball. Now, of course, because he is not having a great shooting year, these are some things that he could try to improve his shot, or maybe just some things that have gone wonky and he needs to correct. But either way, these are some things that I would personally try to correct myself. If I was a trainer and you were having some issues with your shot, I would say try to bring that ball up just a bit higher on your forehead, or just a bit more out towards the right side. Potentially could fix your shot, but that's a lot harder to do when you've got a thumb flick, as we see he does have here. Now, with that thumb flick, very similar to Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving, it helps push that ball up into that shooting triangle, what I like to see. However, if you've got to shoot a thumb flick and your coach is saying, hey, try to push the ball up farther up over top of your arm or over top of your elbow, one thing that you could do is to try that, but instead of that, there's a lot of mechanics that you need to change. If you've got a thumb flick, I would say just try to tilt your body just a bit more, and that actually might just level everything out. But it also depends on where this ball is going. If this ball is hitting the back of the rim, that means that you need to reach up higher into your shot. If it's hitting off the right side, that means that you've got too much of a thumb flick. If it's hitting off the left side, that means that your elbow is too far out. And if it's hitting off the front of the rim, that means that you need to jump higher up into your shot. And of course, that's for players who do shoot with that thumb flick that we do see here. Now, if you're shooting with a thumb flick at the same time as releasing the ball, what you're going to see is less, if not zero, rotation on the ball and very little arc. We do see some arc here, so we can see that that thumb flick is not affecting the shot in his case. Very similar to Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry, their thumb flick also does not necessarily affect their shot. It's also a very slight thumb flick because the thumb does come back away from the ball afterwards. I think that's just so that he can get it up onto his fingertips or up into that shooting triangle, what I like to call. We can also see that he has a soft release, which means that he's going to get more arc on that ball instead of having more backwards rotation on the ball, but we do see that he's got a good amount. It does spin more than 2.5 times when it's in the air, and you generally want to have 2.5 times or more rotation on the ball when you're shooting. We also see that his knees do come together, which a lot of players have that happen. It's not going to affect your shot all that much, but I do have some suggestions. That means usually that your outside of your thighs are a bit stronger. Your quad muscles, the outsides of your legs are a bit stronger than the insides. That's why you usually bring your knees together. If you want to really have more power in your legs, actually do a wall sit with a basketball between your knees, and that's actually going to strengthen the quads in the middle of your, or in the inside of your legs. And of course, by strengthening the whole quad muscle, you're going to be able to jump higher and potentially dunk the ball anyways. So of course, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.